the show. First piece of mail, Twin Spartan. Get this going. Yo, Supreme, I'm going to take you up on your coaching because I would love to use the free version, but like you said, it might be a couple of months till you actually come down, and I like to deal with things right then and there because I believe I see choosing, but it's the quick stuff. It's not like they're throwing a brick at me. It's the subtle shit. And my got excuse my mother keeps calling me. Anyway, um, because I believe I see the choosing. What I got to do and details, get this ball rolling. Okay, I'll get back at you, twin. I was actually hoping he'd wait for the free stuff, so for the show, give us material for the show. But if he wants to get started now, let's get him started. And that's what I've learned um, recently that um, when you try to help people, you got to eventually take it to coaching, private coaching. There's just no way around it because a lot of guys, some guys need extra help, personal coaching through their stuff. And he seems like a guy that'll take my advice and jump on it. Yay is writing. Hey, player, I've gotten better at getting a girl attracted and into me for the first 2.5 weeks or so, but then after that, it seems like the attraction dies down. It could be that they have somebody in the pipeline, but if my game was tight, they would still give me their undivided attention regardless. Any tips on keeping girls into me longer than 3 weeks or so? Okay, yay. You sound like you're doing that dating thing and not the fucking thing. So you got to switch gears. You're doing the wrong thing. After a couple of weeks, you're gonna be pretty boring if you ain't fucking. Think about it. Girls want sex too. Okay, so you're up there, doing the dater thing, not fucking. And if you are fucking, then you ain't fucking them good enough. Okay, if you ain't fucking them good enough, that's a fuck problem that you gotta have to take care of. Learn how to fuck. You can get my 7 steps. I talk all about fucking, and I'm gonna release my just the chapter on fucking, how to fuck the shit out of girls too, real soon. Actually, the book is done. I all I did was cut it out from the main book, and I'm doing an audio version also, extra stuff. Okay, next one. Hey player, 15 to skate. It's been a while. Now this isn't a question directly about game, but you teach about finding your purpose. So here it goes. Long story short, I've gotten my life together education-wise, as you preach. It's part of being a complete package. I just posted this on my site. Yeah, I just made a real nice long post. I'm going to college to start my desired career. However, am at a loss. I know this seems like a question you'd ask your familiars. Familiars are equated to witchcraft when witches have familiars like a cat. You mean the fellows I talked to. But I just kept thinking about that chakra test I took and how you always preach finding and following your passion. So I thought I might find guidance in your take on this. How you talk about personal power, expressing truth, and how in your unbalanced you'll express the wrong truth. Okay, my product for this is coming out real soon. I'm waiting till my voice gets better. There's a flu bug going around that's started on the East Coast. It's all the way out here in the West Coast now. And it goes away and it comes back. And it does it 3 times. It also goes through your intestines where you have the runs for a couple of days, that gurgly, bubbly stomach. And I'm in the last phase of it. After that, I got to heal my throat so I can speak without my voice sounding like this. This is not my normal voice right now. My nodes aren't connecting properly in the vocal cords. You can hear they're swollen. And what I started doing to keep the pain out of the chest, I started holding my throat like this and coughing. So it put the cough in the throat, and I could spit the mucus out that was in the throat. And that may not have been the best thing to do. I don't know. Made it felt better. because that chest cough where it was almost like the whooping cough, your chest hurts, that was just a bit much. So anyway, that product will be coming out, and I'll let you guys know when that's out. Django Unchained. Supreme, have you seen Django Unchained, the black cowboy movie? What's your thoughts on it? Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it about three times. Love the movie. I like the action. Um, I don't think it's that well put together. There's some holes in it, stuff like that, from a production standpoint. But you probably want to talk about. I don't know if you're black or not. Can you see me? So I can assume that you want to talk about the black aspect. And in the movie, I think you're actually Caucasian. Okay. In the movie, Caucasian supremacy is still maintained. Okay. I listened to Tariq's lecture on this, so I'm going to pass it on to you also. Someone sent me Tariq's lecture, and I actually listened to the whole thing. And he was saying that, in the movie, and it's true, white supremacy is still maintained. He does kill white folks in there, but he kills low-level white folks, and that doesn't bother white people when a black man kills like low-level types, I guess. The one high-level white man he does kill, the white man that's teaching him hands him the gun to do it, so he gives him permission to do it. So white supremacy is still maintained. Okay. Outside of that, my best scene was when he blew that bitch away. When he told those girls to say goodbye to whatever the fuck her name was, that skinny bitch. DiCaprio, the one that played DiCaprio's sister, and he just woman went flying. Called me sick, but that was like my favorite scene. I cracked up. That was a bad angle too, because if it had shot it from that angle, she would have flown a different direction. And that's another thing I noticed in that. But it kind of made me laugh. And then the black woman, the fat one, was outran the skinny woman on the way out. Let's see. They used the N-word a ton of times, but it didn't bother me. It's just a movie. I've heard that word in all those old cowboy movies. From Negra, boy, all the shit. Spook, all of it. I just posted some information for white folks on my Facebook channel, because it's mostly white folks that got the bad programming. And I learned from a video series I watched this weekend on the American Revolution, and the first man to die in the battlefield was a black man. This was put out by some guy named Beck, who does a show on stuff like that. And Washington had 3 black men on his staff. Also, in that famous rowing across the boat scene Washington's in, there's 3 black men on that boat. They don't point them out. Okay. The first battle was fought half black. There was a black man who was running a church, and it was the mixed congregation. And this is where the Melungeons came from also. The Melungeons, they found, are actually descended from black males and white females, from the beginning part of the country. And we didn't know that was happening. But apparently, black folks owned businesses. There were black Congress people during this time period, when slavery was going on. We didn't know this stuff because the South wrote the fucking history books. That's why. That's why we got written out of history. The Midnight Rider, Paul Revere, was also a black man that rode to the north, shouting, "The British are coming." We didn't know this stuff. White folks didn't know this stuff. That's why you think all we were slaves and the white folks freed us. No, we were on the battlefield fighting as well. Okay. They looked at some of the photos, and you can see the black people in the photos. In one photo, they showed this guy cowering behind a white man who's fairly famous, and the black man was actually the one that helped win the war, because he was a double agent. He would tell the British one thing, go back to Washington another thing. Okay, we didn't know this. A lot of stuff we didn't know about history because the fucking South and their fucked up issues. They fucking wrote us out. But the artists who drew the stuff that was there, that's where the real truth is. And they don't point this out. They don't show this stuff here in the United States. So you guys who over in England and other parts of the world, we did fight in the war. And we did very well. We died and spilt blood for this country also. We also were Congress people. Apparently there was a man that Lincoln was consulting, and his name was Banneker, I believe it was. He's the guy that designed the layout for Washington, D.C. Well, I learned that this man was a fucking genius. They compared him to Franklin, and he came out over Franklin because he looked at the back of a watch, okay? He taught himself to read also in a couple of years, but he looked at the back of a watch. He went and built a wooden version of it, and that watch was accurate within 1 minute every year, okay? He taught himself the stars, all that kind of stuff. He was able to predict solar eclipses 10 years out from a slave who couldn't read, taught himself to read. Also, the people that were part of the legislative branch or whatever it was, 5 years before that, they couldn't read. They were escaped slaves, and they learned how to read in 5 years and rose up to become part of the legislative branch. So we didn't learn this stuff. White folks, you guys didn't learn this stuff about black people. So that's why I'm going to pass on to you guys, so that you don't just see us as some hip-hoppers, some saggers, rapping dudes they show you today. We have a long history in this country. Anyway, let's move on to some more mail. Flyboy International. What's good, player? I've been a viewer of yours for over 2 years. Thanks to your help, I've expanded my game and pulled women. I only dreamed I could before. Good. At one point, I had 5 dime pieces stalking a brother at once, blowing up my phone all times of the night. After a while, it got to be a full-time job. I know that one well, brother. So now I only have one girl that I see on the regular basis. You might want to keep one on the side, though. One that understands. That way, if the main girl acts up, you got a fallback. That's the way I would run things if I was still out there in the game. She is a good girl and meets all my requirements. Okay, sounds like you're gonna settle down then. The problem is, how do you deal with just one woman? You see me looking around? No, seriously. It was actually very hard for me. It was really hard to settle down because I kept wanting to go back out and do stupid stuff, and it was very hard. I think what got me through was talking to my guys on my forum and doing my shows, focusing. My little brother had passed away, so I didn't want to, I didn't want to do all that stuff, and that helped also. I just kept my mind focused straight ahead. And then I had women choosing. I told you guys about the young Latina girl that came up and gave me her number in the fucking Denny's when I was actually big. Life was hard, but it was hard. I'm ready to settle down, focus on my career, but shit like changing toilet paper roll, taking her out, okay, I don't do stuff like that. For a good time, listening to her talk about her, yeah, I do that. Every day, every damn day really irritates me. Maybe you're just not ready to settle down then. Maybe it's the routine and not the woman. Yeah, what I found is you got to mix it up. I went through, periods where I was all bummed out, emotionally down and stuff like that. I feel like I was in a cage. And then I went through periods of happiness, elation and enjoyment and stuff like that. When you've been to the level that you obviously have been to, and myself and other people, rose up in the game, it's really hard. It's really hard. When getting pussy was so fucking easy. You could get new pussy and have something interesting. Because old pussy gets boring. But you got to make it more exciting. Okay? I heard the line in the movie Perfect Stranger, show me a beautiful woman and I'll show you a man tired of fucking her. I'm happy with sex and she has a good work ethic, just seems to be the same old stuff every day. Yeah. I really know that same old stuff well. I hate being bored. I'm on the same page you are, brother. I just kept pushing through it. Also, I involved her in my business. Okay, that's what helped a lot too. You guys remember in the past she wouldn't involve my business. You know, me talking to you guys and teaching stuff. I got her into I got her into public speaking. Damn, I forgot to release my public speaking. I redid my public speaking site. And I totally forgot. Help you guys who are taking Toastmasters. Man, shit, that sucks. Okay, anyway, I got into public speaking, and you know, she took her skills, her knowledge, and was able to use it and apply it to my business. Now that I have a good woman and can get any woman I want, how can I keep going like you and Jovina? Should it be this much effort in a relationship, or am I just too demanding? I don't think you're too demanding. You'll settle down. Okay, you will settle down. It eventually goes away. You'll go through periods like this, and then you'll come like this, kind of level out. I would rather have highs. And the problem for me right now, maybe this might apply to you, is I'm doing the same thing day in and day out. You know, I do my shows, I talk to my guys. I'm not traveling like I really should be traveling, because she doesn't want to really give up her job just yet. Waiting for that 10 years. But I don't know if I can wait. So anyway, I really should be traveling. My chance is, you know, my buddy sells my TV show, then I'll be able to travel that way. And that'll give me the highs and lows that I need. You know, when life is just like this, that's boring. I know left brain people can tolerate that. That's like normal. They drive like this. Whereas I'm driving like this. Looking around, I see everything. So, Jovina, there have been times when I've driven next to her, honked my horn, waved. She's just like this. She's left brain. Driving. So I'm right brain. I need more ups and downs and lows, stuff like that, highs. So I appreciate the when you're low, you appreciate the highs. I don't like even kill shit. You got to learn to bring excitement to your life. Change. Start changing shit up. Also, you got to be more of a man, and your woman should be doing that, changing of goddamn toilet paper rolls. What kind of man does that kind of work? That's woman's work. Okay, I'm old-fashioned. My girl's old-fashioned. She does all that shit. Okay. I don't clean. She does cleaning. I don't cook. She does cooking. She does laundry. She comes home and make my lunch every day. She makes my breakfast now before she leaves, because I switched eating programs. She takes care of the home, takes care of her man. So that's what you got to train your woman to do. Okay. There are women out there that really gravitate toward that type of lifestyle, and those kind of women that you want to find, a good woman like that, like apparently you have. It just needs some training, refinement. And something seems to be going off here. Okay, we've been talking for 18 minutes. I just saw my CMD pop up. Something's going on underneath my computer, I guess. All right, fellas. Peace.